And I'm back. In this video, part 2 of the art of the offer, I'm going to hand you the keys to starting your own network. I'll show you the fastest way I know how to find advertisers and sell products. And I'm also going to give you tools that you can use to build your digital business. But before we get going, I just want to say thank you. Thanks for the amazing comments you left on the first video. Your support has fired me up to get you the info you need. If you haven't seen the first video yet, please take a minute to watch it. Just click on the link above. Which brings me to this. As I was reading through some of the comments, I noticed a lot of people who were ready to get started like right now. So I went ahead and broke it down in simple steps for you. And if you follow along, by the time you're done watching this video, you will have your own affiliate network live. I know, it sounds a little weird, but don't get freaked out. Let's just get started. Tracking is the lifeblood of your business. You live or die by your stats. You need to be able to track impressions, clicks, leads, and sales 24/7 with no downtime. You could get Cousin Vinny to help you out. His mom said he just started taking some PHP classes like 3 weeks ago, and he's really good at it. So he's going to build your entire tracking system for free in his spare time. Let's hire a couple programmers. Now that always sounds good at first. I mean, these guys are in India. They can do it cheaper, better, and faster. How hard can it really be? Let's hire our own CTO.
How much is one of those?
Not in the budget? What do we do now? How about we get 2 of those?
Huh?
Meet Lucas and Lee Brown, the Brown brothers from As Offers. Not only do they think of just about every feature you'll need to run your own network out of the box, stuff like third-party and sublinks, sub-ID tracking, offer exchange. You don't even have to worry about hosting because they cover that too. The best news is that it won't set you back $200,000 a piece to have the Browns and their entire team work for you. If you can fork a measly $99 per month, you're in business. You can set up an account free for 30 days. And you're not getting a watered-down version of it. You're getting the full Monty. Just click here. Fill out your information. You know, the usual stuff. Tell them a friend sent you, and voila. Technically, you're live. You can now track a click, an impression, a sale,
Even a sneeze.
at any time and from anywhere in the world. How cool is that? So go ahead, pat yourself on the back. Okay, good. So now what? You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Now it's time to act as if.
I want to talk to you guys about appearance, okay? Because most of you dress like I don't know what your financial situation is, and I don't want to know, but you got to get yourself at least one decent suit, because we have a kind of a minimum level of aesthetic professionalism here that we have to maintain. There's an important phrase we use here. I think it's time you all learned it. Act as if. Do you understand what that means? Act as if you are the president of this firm.
Okay, let's go. Get your design team to whip something up. Chop, chop. Oh, you don't have a design team? No problem. I've got you covered. Point your browser to 99designs.com. Now, thanks to 99 Designs, you won't get stuck with one stuck-up designer. That's so early 90s. Instead, get 25 to compete for your business, my lord.
That's what I'm talking about.
Or 30 for $9.99. Let me show you what we got for $9.99. That's right, fully flash animated website. It's clean, and most importantly, it's fully integrated with As Offers. It has sign-up forms for both advertisers and publishers.
Pretty snazzy.
The best part is that we actually got to pick from hundreds of professional designs, and that was free. Point your browser to wix.com. You can create your own Flash websites in minutes, really, for free. The only thing we paid is $9.90, not $999, to remove the Wix logo. Don't get tempted with any other upgrades. That's all you need. Next, phones. Set up a PBX so you and your team can get your calls transferred anywhere you go. These used to cost thousands of dollars and be a hassle to manage. Not anymore. Now you can set one up in a few clicks. Go to virtualpbx.com. They have a trial, so you won't be out any money until you get to use it. Then, it's only $9.99 per month. You also get a virtual fax, which will come in handy once you start getting IOs from the networks. Now, get a Gmail. So you can set up Google Analytics, share Word and Excel documents, and if you're going at this solo,
You're courageous fool.
you don't need a PBX. You can use Google Voice. It's free and good enough to start. Stay organized. Now may be a good time to set up a manifest. Think of it as a user manual in a car. You can use a simple Excel sheet in Google Docs. It should look something like this. It will come in handy when you're ready to be bought out. Now, get some business cards. I like overnight prints. They have good quality cards, fast turnaround, and decent prices. Now, with any new business, only print the minimum. You may want to add or change something as you go. There's no point getting 1,000 cards that will end up in the trash. Get small batches until you get your card down to exactly what you want. Think green twice. Check out Fiverr.com. This is a very cool site, and I have to warn you that you may get stuck on it for a while. After all, where can you get someone to blow bubblegum any way you like? Or write your name on their forehead for only $5? Here's what you can get done on Fiverr. How about a logo? A professional recording or jingle for your PBX? Maybe a header for your newsletter, which you can host for free using MailChimp. Just go for it and have fun. It's only $5. Okay, so let's recap. You hired a CTO, 2 to be exact. Check. You hired a design team, and your site is live. Check. You got phone and fax. Check. You've got business cards. Check. Maybe you Fiverrized your site. Check. Not so long ago, developing your own tracking would have cost you hundreds of thousands, and that's not counting ongoing maintenance. I know, I went that route. Your own Flash website and design from scratch, another $5K. A PBX, another $3 to $5K, not counting landline fees and the time to install and program. Programming those used to cost $100 per hour. Even business cards were more expensive. And try getting a good PBX recording or jingle done. Good luck. But let's tally up and see how much you're out of pocket now. You spent $0 on tracking, $0 on design and hosting, $0 on your phone and fax, $25 on business cards, maybe another $25 on Fiverr to spice things up. So far, you are out of pocket a measly $50. Your monthly overhead is a hefty $119 starting in 30 days. Congratulations. You are now live with your own affiliate network. I wonder how far along we'd be right now with $50 if we were building one of those. Before I go on, I just want to say this. Some people will balk at Wix or Fiverr or even has offers. Maybe you even have a better place to get your business cards. Whatever. What I want to do is just give you options. If you have the cash and resources, by all means, go top end. On the other hand, if you're flying solo or maybe even riding Greyhound, no matter what your situation or budget, you have no excuse not to go live.
No excuse.
Just do it. So now that you has offers, the question is, do you have offers?
Okay, and I interrupt this video because whatever I showed you back then worked, but it doesn't work anymore. I was showing you how you could set up your own affiliate network from scratch using software for free. Well, that software is not free anymore. Now, here's the way it works. I'm going to use a game of Monopoly to illustrate my concept, but you've been in a game where maybe you're on Waterworks, and then you got to roll a big dice to just get out. The reason is it's crowded, it's more expensive. You don't just land on it and pay $50, you land on it, it's $2,000. Well, some of those things, you may have something you grandfathered in that you started, it wasn't that expensive, and now it's costing money, it's pay to play. So the reality of it is that CPA marketing is phenomenal, and I've had great success, but mainly with guys that were already in the space, usually affiliates trying to get and scale their own offer because they're tired of just working for pennies and working for the man at the end of the day. They want to build their own offer with continuity, and they want to learn that. So what I was teaching is great for more advanced, but the reality is that a lot of people that are asking, what can I do in this digital economy that we operate in that I can be most successful at and succeed? All right, well, let me show you something quick. Now, this is, I'm going to clear that up, the crowded game, because this is not the economy we operate in anymore. This is old school Monopoly, traditional, what I would call analog real estate. I'm going to drop this on top. This is an old school server. Now, on top of that server, there's a new board, okay? It's not Park Place at $400 that we're looking at. Everything is bigger, faster, better. Here we're looking at Times Square, and we're talking about $4 million to play, okay? Everything is bigger, faster, more of it, and that new board is an electronic banking system that operates on top of the analog economy that we've been used to operate on. Now, on top of that banking system, brands operate, and that's really where the value is. It's in the brands. The new boardwalk is Beats by Dre, and it's not 4 million like Times Square, it's $400 million. Beats by Dre, Skype, software companies, now the blue chips, okay? We have companies like eBay that have been around for less than 20 years, have the same valuation of companies like Ford that have been around for over a century. So on top of that analog economy, there's an electronic banking system. On top of that electronic banking system, brands operate. They operate to capture your email, the value, the money is in the list. You have a buyer list and a lead list. When you sell your business, you sell your buyer file. How many you have and what are they worth? How often do they buy and what do they buy? What is a lead file worth? How many of them convert to buyers and what they're worth? So back to what's in it for me. What is it that I can do today that I can be successful with? And the reality is that you may already have a program on your hard drive that you got excited about, but it's not about time management anymore. It's about focus management. The key is focus. That is the most valuable currency. And how do we get there? Okay, well, let's check it out. So how do you figure out what it is that you're good at, what it is that you can do and really be good at? Well, first, some of the things you have to try. And you may try soccer first and you realize, well, I'm pretty good at soccer, I'm good with my feet, but I'm actually better at basketball. Yeah, I like basketball, it's a team sport, but maybe you like baseball, And again, these are all team sport. Maybe you're more of an individual person. Maybe you like tennis, or maybe ping pong is your game, or maybe golf is the thing, or maybe badminton, whatever it is. So what you do is you try a different thing until you figure something that you like, that you have an affinity for. Now, sometimes to find your passion, two things. One, things you love, that's fairly easy. Sometimes it's things you hate, and you push to action to do something about it. Okay, so you figure out what is the one sport that you're good at, and all of a sudden you make decisions, you put things on the chopping block. Let go of this, let go of that, let go of this. Let's say golf is your thing, and now all you do is you focus on golf. So you take the one thing where you had all these different sports you were trying, kind of figuring out, and you were a bit of a peon at it. I mean, you know, you're just starting, figuring things out, not really knowing for sure. So what you do is once you dial in that golf is your actual thing, then that's the one thing that you can be a king at, a master at, okay? Now imagine if you, let's say you're Tiger Woods. Let's see if I have my golfer, okay? So you're Tiger Woods, but you do not know that golf is your thing. The tragedy, right? So maybe you play tennis for years and basketball and baseball and all this thing, and you get good at all those different things, but if you had just spent 30 years just doing that one thing, it's the concept outline in Outliers, which is 10,000 hours in doing one thing makes you an expert. Now, I do believe, though, in this day and age, it's good to try different things. You can't be locked in one thing because things are moving so quick. So I do believe there's an advantage at the fluidity. Look at guys like Richard Branson, dyslexic. Meanwhile, he's operating some of the most successful companies using very talented people that maybe were A+ students and he was a D student, because he has the fluidity of thinking. Here's another thing too, the unlearning process. So sometimes you know something, like you do a sport, you start playing with it, you figure out some moves, then you go take a lesson, you figure out you're doing everything wrong. You have the wrong technique, and if you want to go to the next level, you're going to have to unlearn what you learned first so you can move on. So the unlearning is as hard as the learning. So once you figure out the one thing that you can be a king at, that's what you focus on. Now, let me show you something else. The reality, though, we're all different. So this is a safe deposit box. And what I want to do is I want to open it up so we can go over our resources and who we're dealing with. So it doesn't matter what we're building. What matters is who we're building it for. Okay, who are you? What do you like? What are you good at? And how are you wired? So we'll start with that. Well, we're all different. Okay. So some of you, we have things that we love and we have things that we can't stand. All right. Everybody has got different things. We have brains. Some of you are smarter than others, and there's stuff that you're smarter at than others. You know, maybe you're good in the kitchen. Maybe you're great in the bed. Maybe you suck at math. Whatever it may be, there's things that you've learned, lessons you've learned, things you've done, things you haven't done. And so we're all individual. We're 1 in 7 billion. Okay, that's insane. Now we all know that we all have different resources. Now a few things. One is what type of real estate are you involved in? Are you maybe, I'm still using the game of Monopoly, but maybe you're old school. You're doing traditional real estate. This is what I call digital real estate. Things have been redesigned. It's a Web 2.0. Everything has been updated. It's moving faster. So how familiar are you with traditional real estate? How fluid are you with new real estate? Maybe you're in the valley and you're working on an app and you're thinking unicorn, and you're fluid because you have no friction. You don't have anything to unlearn. You are pioneering. Maybe you're older and you think, well, I can figure out that buying and selling a product at a certain price, I can wrap my head around that concept. I don't have much to unlearn, and that's the thing, you're going to be successful. Maybe it's a mix of both. Now, also, what is your goal? So when you play Monopoly, some of you, you're happy if you just own Baltic. Maybe you have a little blog on the side, adds a couple bucks on the side extra. Others, you're like, screw this, I want all the reds. Reds are mine. Or others, you want all the blue or the green. Or some of you want the whole game. And others, maybe it's railroad station, whatever it is, and you want all of them. Maybe you just want one of them, whatever makes you happy. And then your commitment. When you work into something, if you go to a game, do you bet maybe a chip here, chip there, chip here, chip there, kind of try, 6, 7 different things and see if any one of them sticks? So in other words, are you going for what you think you could get possibly? Or are you coming in ready to play and own that game? Do you come to the table and say, I'm going to load my chips, I'm going to stay at that table until I learn it all? And my goal is to learn it to go from the $10 chip table to the $100 chip table, and eventually to the $1,000 chip table, whatever that may be. So what's your staying power and how serious are you about it, okay? So once you figure that out, once you figure who you are, who are we building for, what it is that we're building for, that's great. Now what you can do is, once you figure out that one thing that you're focusing on, thanks Michael Morelli for that one. Once you figure out the one thing, then you can go to bat with that. I'm going to clear that up, make some room. Then you can go crush it. Then you can go balls to the walls and build that thing up and tear it up. But if you don't know what it is, then you might even feel guilty that you're not pushing and crushing because You know, it's like, well, how fast are you trying to go to nowhere if you don't know where you're going, okay? So once you figure that out, you can go and crush it and stay focused, stay the course. Then you can apply the process of outsourcing. So getting yourself out of the business. You know, most people, and I'm guilty as sin on that one, associated myself to the business so much that there was no differentiation. And the reality is that the business is a tool to help you live your life, not the other way around, okay? So outsourcing and figure out how to bring people in, and that if you got hit by a car, that the thing would still run. That's a business. That's something that operates without you necessarily being there. Then you can build a funnel. You can build an online funnel. You can figure out how to drive traffic the proper way, be creative with your copy and your ways of driving traffic. And then you can run it like a regular business. No BS. Just get to work and get things dialed in. So once you figure out what that's for you, then that's awesome. If you can figure out who you are, where you are, and if you could build something that works, that's phenomenal. But there's one thing that I believe is even more important than all of these, and sometimes the hardest thing to find. And that's this one, the starting with why. Now that's the billion-dollar question. Now if you answer all these questions, but on top of it, you know exactly why you're getting out of bed. And I believe two whys. One, maybe your family, providing for your family, that's your innate. But then a more deeper why, which is your purpose. You know exactly why you're here, why you're doing what you're doing, and why you're supposed to be doing it. And once you have that, it's game over. So think of it as a boat. You have a powerful boat, beautiful boat, fantastic engine, amazing boat, but no rudder. How far do you think you're going to go? So the why is the rudder for that boat. And if you can find that, then game over. Because when the going gets tough, and you know it will, then you're going to keep at it. Now, most businesses fail, I think 9 out of 10 within the first year. So 1 out of 10 will succeed, and that's why you need something that you're so connected to your why and so passionate that once you get knocked out, you're going to keep getting back up. If it's something you're casual about, yeah, somewhat care about it, but really don't, then as soon as you take a hit, you're going to figure something out to fly from it so that you won't stick with it. Now, if you find your why, that's your holy grail. That's your treasure right here. I'm going to open a little treasure chest, and inside of it, there is a pearl. Now, why a pearl? Well, simple. Back in the days, pearls were so rare that they were only allowed for royalty. Now, we talked about being a king at one thing. So you are royalty at one thing. Now, right now, you may not be. Right now, maybe you're right here. Now, in between here and there, what stands is what I call the pigs. What do you mean by that? Well, don't throw your pearls to the pigs. So maybe you're here and you know your pearl, ultimately you're going to be there, and your pearl is right here. It hasn't changed. But sometimes you got to keep that to yourself. You can't go out and run your mouth because people won't allow you to have what they won't allow themselves to have. It's called a crab mentality. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but don't throw your pearls to pigs. You got to hang on to your pearl, know what it is, know yourself. The more you know yourself, the better you are, right? And sometimes maybe friends and family. You come out, you got this great idea. Oh yeah, well last time you did this, didn't work. What about this? What about that? You got to stay away from that. You got to find the one thing that you can do better than anybody else, and then go to town on it until you can show them. So tell them so you can show them. Everybody, nobody wants to be talked about. They don't want to be hear about, yeah, quit telling me about it. Show me. Tell them and show them. And that's how you gain respect. Now, quick thing. You may think, well, how am I going to do that? How am I going to... We'll leave you with the concept of less is more. This is Yahoo back in the days. Yahoo with a larger search engine. Nobody could even catch up to them. Now, how did Google put these guys out of business? Well, simple. They looked at the landscape. They took a snapshot of what was, and then they figured out what is the one thing that we can do better than anybody else. And then that's what they did. Search. That's what it is. Less is more. Less is more indeed. So find that one thing that you can do better than anybody else, and instead of being a peon at it, you're going to be a king, and then find your why. Once you do that, game over. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Sign up, put your email down. I'm going to send you a link to where you can fill out a quick form for yourself, where you could go over and do a little bit of an inventory that will help you narrow down the what, and then help you to get to the why. All right. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you know anyone that could benefit from what you just saw, just share it, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.